I remember when, I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have not going so much space. And when you're out there without a care, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. Maybe I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. This is another exciting episode of the Unrelenting Alchemist. And we're going to talk today about the spiritual stalker, the soul that follows you through lifetimes. You see, some enemies are born of circumstance, others are born of karma. But then there are those, the nemesis, whose very essence was conjured in opposition to your light. Souls twisted not just by darkness, but by obsession, by mimicry, and by hatred so ancient it precedes even language. The murderous stalker is not just someone who hates you in this life. They've hated you for centuries. Perhaps since the dawn of your soul's emergence, they have trailed you lifetime after lifetime, seeking one thing above it all, your spiritual extinction. This is not a poetic metaphor, and this is not for the faint of heart. This is an ancient truth that many may feel, but few can call by name. Some people arrive in your life not to love, not to teach, not to test, but to destroy. And if you are a child of the light, especially one sent here with divine purpose, they may find you across centuries. Their fixation is metaphysical. Their obsession is spiritual. They are not content with harming your body. They want your soul to fracture. They want to rip the divine code from your aura. They may have even succeeded previously in other lifetimes, but they want you to break. You are a hunter of radiance. And the murderous stalker, the spiritual follower, is not always violent in the physical realm. Sometimes they may present as a lover, as a friend, as a mentor, or even a savior. But beneath the surface, behind the mask, there is a singular objective: to extinguish what you are. Their hunger is not for your company, but for your collapse. And it doesn't have to be through a means in the 3D. You are the mirror that they cannot bear to gaze into, because your light reminds them of everything that they once forfeited. You did not choose shadow over radiance. You did not bow to bitterness, envy, or self-deceit. And so you became an offense to their ego, because to them they are the best thing that ever was, and there can be no second sun. You remind them that they had a path and they abandoned it. Their soul recognizes yours in dreams, in glances, in the silence between breaths. They track you with eyes that remember 1,000 deaths, 1,000 rejections, 1,000 moments in which your growth shattered their illusions out of control. And this is a lifelong, lifetimes long chase. In ancient Egypt, they were the priest who cursed your altar. In Rome, they were the senator who orchestrated your execution. In Ghana, they were the inquisitor who accused you of sorcery. In the plantation fields of the American South, they were the overseer who took pleasure in your whippings and your torment. You've reincarnated many times in many lifetimes, in many positions, some higher, some lower, but in each position you were who you were. You were an unbreakable spirit, and you always outshine them. And even when you transcend, when you escape, your grace was too potent to ever be contained. And so they followed. A parasite that latched onto the thread of your karmic line, because they're always close enough to witness you rise, but never free enough to rise themselves. Each lifetime they adapt their approach. sometimes more aggressive, sometimes more seductive, sometimes quite familial and dependency oriented, sometimes spiritual, but the hunger is always the same. They covet what you have, and if they cannot have it, which usually is the case, they will damn you for having it. This is the energy of true competition. This is the energy of envy. This is poison, toxin in spiritual form. Envy is more than an emotion, it is a spiritual toxin. When cultivated long enough, envy mutates into something quite dangerous, a metaphysical venom that seeks annihilation of the beloved object, your light, your joy, your connection to the Most High, your divine purpose. These are the things that trigger them on such a spiritual level. You trigger their existential despair. This is why logic does not work on them. Kindness does not disarm them. It's like they have very little soul, and they don't care for much other than their own personal advancement. Forgiveness cannot redeem them. This hatred is ancient. It's coded into the energetic matrix of their very being. You might ask, what did I do to deserve this? But the question itself is misplaced. This is not about wrongdoing, because you didn't do anything wrong. This is about essence. Your soul burns with a frequency that they can no longer access. You remind them of everything they lost when they made a different choice, a deal with a darker power. In every lifetime, their decision was the same: resentment over healing, control over love, punishment over freedom. Because they're not really here to work that hard. They just want all of the rewards and none of the responsibility. This is the mimic and the mirror. Sometimes the stalker doesn't just attack, they impersonate, they mimic, they attempt to steal your image, they attempt to take your identity, they attempt to convert and keep your power. They become a distorted mirror of you, pretending to speak your truth, pretending to copy your style, but they're hijacking your legacy. This is the spiritual identity of theft that they endure in. And the rewards of your path without the cost of your discipline is what they desire. They want your crown without carrying your cross. But what they cannot fabricate is your soul's authenticity. You are too real. So they turn vicious. They turn desperate. They turn possessive. They lash out. They begin to dismantle everything you build, hoping that if they cannot replace you, they can at least erase you. And they will see you crack and they will see you fall. And that makes them happy. They are the thief of essence. They despise your vibration. They whisper your secrets with twisted interpretations. They campaign against you, maligning you every step of the way, defaming you. They are the Judas besides you who are coming to save. They'll give you a kiss, but it's a kiss that could kill. And they're seeking to destroy you by death by 1,000 cuts. They rarely strike once. Their goal is not a single moment of collapse. It's a slow grinding erosion of your spirit. It's like insanity doing the same thing over and over again and hoping for a different outcome. Regardless of whether they succeed or fail, they will just keep coming and coming and coming. And every time you rise, they accuse. Every time you forgive, they injure again. Their cruelty is a spiritual warfare disguised as a coincidence. A friend who turns, a lover who lies, an opportunity which collapses at the last minute. They operate through others when necessary because they are cowards at heart, forming alliances of deception and illusion. They don't have to do the hard work. They'll get others to do their dirty work. They'll win them over, and then they'll act as a shadow behind the veil. They will rejoice when you're weary. They will laugh with a strange psychopathic satisfaction. Your heartbreak, your failure to be nourished, the incantation and hex that brings you down. They want to unmake your faith. They want to dissect you, remove you from the divine. They want to take away your chosen status with your memory intact, even if you don't remember. For you are a soul architect, and they are trying to wreck the building. You're encoded with something old and powerful, something divine, something eternal, and they want to stop that at any cost. But they operate behind the scenes. They know that you're a threat to those who build altars on lies. You carry a light that reveals everything that's hidden. You carry a voice that shakes ancient thrones. You didn't ask to be hunted, and you didn't invite the stalker to follow, but your light signaled them like a beacon across lifetimes. And they've never stopped watching. They've never stopped being fascinated. They are obsessed. They are waiting and they are wounded. And they will have their way. And thus, when you rise, you are the chosen. And you can reclaim your power. And you can make them continue to wish for your downfall. This ends part 1 of this episode of The Unrelenting Alchemist. I will follow this up with part 2 and 3 as we continue to examine the spiritual stalker who just won't quit. And so when that dark calls, answer not with fear, answer with fire and light. You are the unrelenting alchemist. Never forget that. And if I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I love you.